They'll take on the hosts Croatia tomorrow, but first they have to get past, as you say, Lloyd, the ultimate underdogs of the 6 teams here in Split. For Tunisia, this is a big warm-up, isn't it, for Afrobasket later this summer, but Brazil still have to dot the I's, cross the T's, put in a professional performance and make sure they get the job done.
Yeah, I think people have eyes on Croatia, arguably as favourites here in Split. However, as we just saw there, you know, this is a Brazilian team in the FIBA World Rankings ahead of Croatia, a team that has a lot of continuity with guys coming back from the Olympic Games, with guys coming back from the previous World Championships as well. They've got a superb head coach in Coach Petrovic. You know, all the pieces are there for this Brazilian team to make it back to the Olympics once again.
2-time world champions, 4-time continental champions, most recently in 2009, and 3-time Olympic bronze medalists, Brazil. They want to go to the grand stage again later this summer. And you can see how pumped up they are right from the start. Both of these teams, of course, have Croatia to come in their second game, so the win here absolutely crucial. Alexander Petrovic, of course, a Croatian head coach leading Brazil here in Split. Ready now for the introduction of Tunisia. In 2011, they became the first North African nation to win Afrobasket in 3 decades. And they did so again at the last edition in 2017. And they will look to defend that title in Rwanda later in the summer. First, they'll look to cause an upset or two if they can here on this court.
You know, the other thing for this Tunisian team, they do have guys with Olympic experience, guys that played in 2012. Now, it was the only appearance of Tunisia in the Olympic Games, but, you know, there are a core of players that played in that Games back again for this Tunisian team.
With the 2 sets of players out on the floor, we'll just pause for a moment for the 2 national anthems. It's the two-time and reigning African champions against a two-time world champion and four-time continental champion Tunisia against Brazil here at the Spaladium Arena in Split, as we take a check on your officiating team for this second game here in this Olympic qualifying tournament. It's being called the last samba for this Brazil side here in Croatia. The core of this roster seems to have been together forever. An average age of 30, the 12 players available to them here, led by NBA veteran Anderson Varejão, as well as fellow 38-year-old Marcelino Huertas, the point guard, making the Spanish League Team of the Season this year, and scorer Vitor Benite, the Basketball Champions League Final 8 MVP, en route to the title, Lloyd.
Well, what an embarrassment of riches for this Brazilian team. As we see Vitor Benite there, you know, off a great season in the Spanish League, in the ACB. Of course, the MVP of the Final 8 in the Basketball Champions League this year, as well as he's helped San Pablo Burgos to back-to-back titles in the Basketball Champions League.
And they're led, as I say, by Alexander Petrovic. And I know a number of the Brazil players have been talking about how well he knows Croatia and the extra boost that might give them when they face the co-hosts later on in the tournament. But as for Tunisia, it still all revolves around one man, really. 35-year-old Salah Mejri, a former EuroLeague champion in NBA, the leading shot blocker at London 2012, as well as the last World Cup in 2019.
The only Tunisian to play in the NBA for a reason. You know, he is the best ever Tunisian player. There's no arguments about that. You know, getting to the end of his career arguably now, but back with Madrid in 2019-20, and then a couple of games in the CBA as well. Great insight into the play that Coach Baumann might be drawing up for his team there. Hopefully no one from Brazil is watching, but just on the opposite bench where you got Coach Petrovic, an experienced head, you know, definitely the same for Coach Baumann on the Tunisian bench as well.
Coach Petrovic, a former Croatia head coach. Coach Baumann, a former Germany head coach. Another team that are here in Split, but he knows what he's doing. A man who led Germany to the Eurobasket final in 2005, winning silver. Also coached his native country at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Since then, he's guided Iran to bronze at the 2015 Asia Championships, now in charge of Tunisia. Their only Olympic Games came at London 2012 when they lost 5 out of 5. Brazil aiming to compete at their 16th Olympic Games, only missing out on 4 tournaments since basketball was added to the schedule in 1936. They won bronze in London in 1948, in Rome in 1960, and in Tokyo in 1964. And of course, they're looking to go to Tokyo again. Two sets of players taking to the floor, ready for the opening tip of this campaign for them. Myself, Tim Long, alongside Manchester Giants head coach Lloyd Gardner, as we get Group B of this Olympic qualifying tournament underway in Croatia. Tunisia, the lowest ranked team here in Split, 34th in the world, taking on a Brazil side ranked significantly higher in 11th. But one good or bad performance changes the whole picture in this unforgiving format. A place in Saturday's semi-finals is the focus for all of the 6 nations. The 2 number 50s to contest the opening tip. Salah Mejri, of course, and Bruno Caboclo, another former NBAer wearing the green and gold of Brazil. Tunisia, the first offense, it goes straight away into the hands of Mejri, back to Abada, who's their other key player. Across to the far side it goes, 3-point shot, rims out, and the rebound by Mariano.
Small backcourt for Brazil against the bigger Tunisians, but, you know, arguably that's where they've got their biggest advantage. This combo with Benite, Marcelino Huertas, and then Alex as well. You know, a real difficult matchup for Tunisia on the perimeter.
Vitor Benite to inbound the ball, 14 on the shot clock. Into the hands of Marcelino Huertas, 38 now, but he says he can continue to play, that there's still a lot left in his tank. Mariano takes on the long two, and he backs it in.
Now that pick and roll game is going to be key in how Tunisia are able to defend it. You know, Salem El-Shadri spent a lot of time in the ACB. He's seen Marcelino Huertas off those ball screens plenty of time. And it's going to be a key for me.
Mejri hands it off to Slimane. Slimane into the hands of Obada. Obada trying to slice into the lane and disrupt it from multiple angles. And here come Brazil off the back of the defense. Benite. They'll slow it down and play in the half court. Benite gets Mejri off his feet, shifts it on, and then gets it back again from Alex, the 41-year-old. To the corner it goes. Caboclo from the corner, and Brazil with the first 5 points.
Just the confidence of Vitor Benite there. You know, steps out, fakes it, gets his man in the air, knows the help's coming and where the pass is going before it happens.
Hadidan hands off to Ganouni. Ganouni, who played all 6 games in qualifying for this year's Afrobasket. Onto the corner to Obada. Little push shot from him mid-range, right on the money.
Bada's got to have a big game. He's proved himself at the African level, you know, to be arguably one of the best point guards in Africa right now. But this is a different game going against like Benite, going against guys like Huertas.
Mariano back to Benite. Those two heavily involved straight away. And Benite sending an early message.
And that's it. You know, Obada didn't play bad defense. He's chasing Benito all over the floor, but still he's got the quality to knock it down.
There is Obada again, directing traffic from the far side. Mejri's pass out to Slimane. Slimane crossing over against Caboclo. Attacking Huertas far side is Obada. Another shot for him, and he got it off the bounce to beat the buzzer.
Nice play from Obada. You know, real kind of evolving. I remember him playing as a youngster in Afrobasket in 2015-17, but, you know, really looks mature on the ball now.
Mariano setting the screen. Marcelino Huertas running into trouble still, though. Slimane, can he find the right pass down the floor into the hands of Obada? This time on the reverse. Offensive rebound. Mejri misses it. Second bite of the cherry again, and a foul from Caboclo.
Love the passion on the Tunisian bench. Said, you know, they're going to be prepared. Anytime Dirk Palman's on the sideline, you know the team is going to have a game plan. They're going to know how they can win the game. You know, first of all, they've brought the energy, plays like that defensively. Look at the recovery there from Ganouni. But the question is, can they execute the game plan, which is tough to do against a team like Brazil.
You mentioned Brazil's Alex, 41 years of age. Radouani Slimane at the line is 40.
It's a transition stage for Tunisia, but I like the way they're doing it. You know, we've got Ganouni out there, a new face, a youngster, still Obada in the prime of his career. Manawi as well, who coming off the bench, has been really big for them as a punch in these warm-up games before this tournament.
Benite. Alex blocked the pass by Ganouni, but then a foul.
Yeah. We saw how fouls can hurt a team in the first game with Mexico. And already that is 2 on Ganouni. So he's going to go to the bench.
He's one of their younger players at the age of 24. A mix of youth and veterans for Tunisia.
El Mabrouk is one of those guys who played 2012 Olympics, so he's got some experience coming in off the bench.
Caboclo, get out of the way, a Caboclo cracker.
Now, we talked about Salem El-Shadri being an NBA player. Caboclo showing why. He was the 20th pick in an NBA draft in 2014 already. Made the 3, made the dunk, great rotation from Alex.
And still the pace to burst away. Has the freedom of the arena to finish, the 41-year-old. And Brazil with 4 emphatic points in quick succession.
Two guys from Brazil get hit in the face on the same play there, but they still got the basket. Lucas there, and then Alex took a shot from Mejri as he took the steal as well.
Alex, a 10-time Brazilian All-Star, 8-time Defender of the Year, former league MVP. Abada. Tunisia down by 5. Gets it back from Hadidan. Al Mabrouk. Far side it goes. It's Slimane. Can't get it off the hop. Benite the rebound. Caboclo. After that statement dunk, moves it back this time to Benite. Working with Mariano. Fires the bounce pass in past Mejri and a foul.
The speed of play from Brazil. They pushed it, went to Caboclo. He sort of backed it in as, you know, what we don't see on the replay is Benite come off 2 screens to try and get a 3. Didn't get the shot because it was well guarded, but then immediately into a ball screen as well. It's just, you know, the repetition from one to another. Good read.
How about the defense from Abada as well? Can he finish? Checks the rear view mirror, lays it up and in.
Heady play from him. I said it's a big challenge for Abada. Coming off a strong domestic season, he played in the Basketball League, African League as well, helping his team to the final in which he had a big game.
Marcelino Huertas, the 38-year-old, goes to the basket and finds the finish.
Back and forth start this one, hasn't it? I think both teams will be pleased. You know, Tunisia haven't backed down at all from this Brazilian challenge.
Here's Mejri looking to answer back over the top of Mariano. Still Tunisia ball.
He wanted a foul, just gave a glare to the official as if to say, where's my call? But they'll keep possession.
They need to get the ball in. They do just in time. Al Mabrouk. Abada on the bounce. Back for Mejri. Thinking about it, and then taking it, and then hitting it. The 3-point shot from the 2m17 center. Tunisia closed the gap to 2. Caboclo looking to show he can do it from the outside as well. How about the springs in the sneakers of the 41-year-old Alex?
Should have finished. That was a beautiful pass over the top from Huertas.
Abada, Mejri rolling inside this time. High catch. Looking to attack up against Caboclo and a foul.
So Tunisia haven't backed down. You know, Brazil, you can see what they're trying to do. In the way that Germany came out, just kind of a step off the pace. Brazil, they've come out and they're aggressive defensively. You know, aggressive on ball screens. They're trying to get after it and set the tempo early, I think, to get them in the rhythm. But Tunisia just not batting an eyelid right now. You know, Abada especially comes off the screen, sees all the traffic, just comfortable moving on the ball to the open man.
So many veterans. Anderson Varejão in another 38-year-old. We've seen scores and big plays from the 38-year-old Huertas, the 41-year-old Alex, the 40-year-old Slimane. But the game, despite all of those veterans, has started at a high-octane pace. And up to the corner it goes from Abada, looking to switch and to score, and doing so admirably, Marnaoui.
Well, Marnaoui's only 22, but he has led them in scoring for 4 of their 5 prep games coming into this one. He's coming off the back of a 31-point game against Germany, so, you know, he knows where the basket is, that's for sure.
Huertas to Benite, he knows where the basket is as well. Steps forward to the foul line, misses that open shot. Rebound, Alex Benite. He's not going to miss 2 in a row.
No, he's not. You can't give him that much room. I mean, it was frustrating because Abada guarded him well. Didn't expect the rebound to drop where it did. And gave Benite the space.
He averaged 15.3 points through the season in the Basketball Champions League, but 19 points per game at the final 8. Corner 3, far side. It's Al Mabrouk who strings it.
That's what Mabrouk is able to provide. You know, he's a guy that can space the floor.
It's been a wonderful watch so far over the first 7 minutes, 16-16.
Yeah, I mean, we said this is a challenge for Tunisia, but absolutely they're taking it. Now they're going to bring back Ganouni. That's interesting. He's got 2 fouls. He's going to have to play the point here. They can't afford for him to pick up a cheap one.
And they've been doing pretty well without him as well.
Yeah.
In for the first time for Brazil is young point guard Iago. Benitez step to the side, three-point shot, Benitez catching fire.
He's just so good at having the advantage when he catches the ball. Comes from underneath the basket, out on the perimeter, and already the defense is chasing. The moment you're chasing Vita Benitez, you're in trouble.
He's got 8 points already. Tunisia turned the ball over. Alex running the floor, dishes off. Wouldn't quite go, though, and Tunisia survived that scare. And this was from Lucas Diaz, who's recently into the game. Al-Mabrouk. Lovely cross-court pass, bypassing everybody to the far side, and Tunisia hitting the target time and time again.
This is a Tunisian performance you often see in Afrobasket, just looking so well drilled, so oiled offensively. They're making this Brazilian defense look pretty ordinary right now.
Tunisia 8 of 13 from the field, including 3 of 4 from downtown so far. 19-19, final seconds of the shot clock here. Three-point shot this time for Lucas. Varejao with the ball like a magnet into his hands. Yago slices and dices, misses. Tunisia now in transition. Marnaoui puts the brakes on, they'll play in the half court. And these two might be well separated in the rankings, but they've been trading blows like two heavyweights in the opening 8.5 minutes. That one doesn't connect for Tunisia.
It's a battle of guys that have gone at it before, isn't it? Varejao and Mejri, both in the NBA. At the same time, they would have fought over a couple of rebounds before, as we see the three-point shooting for both teams. We said there on the catch, Benitez already got the defender chasing. He's so poised with the ball, uses ball fakes extremely well, and he's off to a hot start here.
Mejri over 200 games for the Mavericks in the NBA, and Varejao 14 seasons, over 700 games. Benitez back to Yago, a man at the opposite end of his career, the 22-year-old. Yago to Varejao. Youth combining with experience to great effect.
That's not an easy finish for the big man. You know, rolling down the middle. People swinging at the ball as it's in the air, trying to get the block. Good body control from him. Marnaoui.
Brazil by 2. Marnaoui happy to take on everybody, including Varejao. And how about the follow from Ahmed Adami?
These youngsters from Tunisia, you know, a lot of them haven't played much for the senior national team before. They are not backing down at all.
Adami, a 23-year-old, with his first score. Final seconds now. There's a 12-second differential at the end of the first. Back to Varejao, dribbled the ball off his own foot. Picked up by Adami, and Tunisia in transition again off the back of that defensive energy.
Smart play as well. They'll pull it out, hold for the final shot here. Chance to win the quarter.
6 seconds to shoot. 21-21. Al-Mabrouk wriggling free. Pass disrupted though, and that will do it. They really have traded blows, these two. Neck and neck pretty much throughout the entirety of the opening 10 minutes, and it finishes level at 21. Fast and furious. And let's hope there's plenty more to come.
As you said, Tim, hopefully plenty more of that. Excellent first quarter by both teams. We'll see some high percentages. I think offensively, you know, both teams, what we didn't see in the first game, they look like they're ready to play here. You know, Tunisia, so often at this Tunisian team, we've seen them use their veterans through Afrobasket, this same core of players. Like I said, you know, guys like Salah Mejri back from 2012, but you know, the impressive thing for me is this new batch of guys in their early 20s that have come in here in the first 10 minutes and proved that they belong against a team that's, you know, just outside the top 10 in the FIBA World Rankings. So impressive from Tunisia. The question is this, you know, the kind of the entry point? They're super excited. It's their first time on this stage. Can they maintain it? Because we know the quality of this Brazilian team. We know they're not really going to dip no matter who they bring in from the bench.
And that's the great unknown, isn't it? You've got all of these young players. We talk about Tunisia being only the 34th ranked nation in the world, but not with these players. It's a different set of players in terms of having 6 age of 24 or below. There's 3 22-year-olds, a 20-year-old on the roster as well, and they are stepping up to the plate, stepping up on the perimeter, knocking down shots. 3 of 5 Brazil, 3 of 6 Tunisia from downtown. Shots going inside and out. Vitor Benite leading the way with 8 points for Brazil, but so many contributors for Tunisia so far here as well, including that man there, Omar Abada, who leads them with 6 points.
Coming in, I thought that was going to be the bit that Brazil dominated in that backcourt. But Tunisia, as I said, you know, that first 10 minutes, they played it at least even.
Iago on to Mendel. A jump ball has been called as Brazil look to attack. No. Tunisia ball. Adami back to Al Mabrouk. Went around Varejao, kicked it back out, and Hadidan knocks down the 3, the 4th of the game for Tunisia.
And he's a guy that can. That's a scouting report. And Hadidan, he'll step out, knock down the 3.
Benite to Varejao, off the mark for him. Hadidan shot 55% at the World Cup from the outside in 2019. He shifts it on to Al Mabrouk again. They'll try and attack on the inside this time. Post up, far side Adami. Benite ripping the ball away from his teammate Varejao and then playing it off the heel of Lucas, but they get away with it. Iago, baseline cut. It's not pretty at the moment from Brazil. They'll slow it down and try and figure things out in the final 10 seconds of the shot clock. Benite inside to Varejao again. The ball not sticking for Brazil. Tunisia looking dangerous around the perimeter at the moment. And they'll slow it down this time. Al Mabrouk takes it all himself, misses. Benite the rebound. And the pace continues. Iago won't slow down with him. Very energetic 22-year-old guard, just 168 in height. Iago to the far side, creates the open 3, missed by Mendel.
Double foul. I'm not sure what Varejao did there to get a foul, but you know, excellent work from him on the boards. It's interesting. I think this tempo suits Tunisia to try and get it up and down. You know, Brazil looked a little out of control those last couple of possessions. This Tunisian lineup, you know, looks energetic, looks like they can play in the open floor. You know, the other thing for me, like Al Mabrouk, I think has done a tremendous job controlling play. So often we've seen him parked in the corner for Tunisia, allowing other guys to be the playmaker off the dribble. But, you know, he's really kind of moved to the point guard spot and done an excellent job creating opportunities by getting to the lane and finding other people.
Brazil, no doubt the favourites here, but it just looks as though it might take them a while to figure it out. Iago to inbound. Varejao got it and gets Brazil back within 1.
Yeah, this defensive mistake. You don't want to let Varejao slip to the basket like that. Heady play from the veteran.
His spot on this team was questionable, Anderson Varejao, but he re-signed late last season with the Cavs and got himself in shape to be included. And Mabrouk. Varejao the rebound now as well. Iago. Through a gap, back out, low catch, flicked on to Benite from the near side, misses. Iago, how about the offensive rebound from the 168 guard? He looked to quicken the pace in the final 7 seconds of the shot clock. Nice pass to the corner, again a miss from Lucas. And Tunisia save it on the baseline with Hadidan. Now they come forward in transition again. Abada. Tunisia by 1, 3 minutes into the second quarter. Omar Abada going to work, swings it around the corner. Far side, nice team play from Tunisia. Ends up with the open 3-point shot, missed though by Monawi. Iago with a quick pass down the floor. And the finish in transition from Leo Mendel.
Oh, barely time to take a breath, is it? Up and down, you know, great offense from Tunisia. They get a good look at a three. I don't think they'll be disappointed with that at all. They're getting what they want offensively right now.
It's 3 assists in 6 minutes for Yago since coming in. And Tunisia hit Brazil back.
Well, you can see how he can have a 30-point game, Manawi, with plays like that.
Farigel uses Benite as a decoy. Again, they get the open shot in the corner, and this time with pinpoint precision from Lucas, as Brazil go back ahead.
We said in the first game, you know, the difference early stages between Mexico and Germany was just making shots, and to a lesser extent, those last couple of plays, the same thing. I think Tunisia, as I mentioned, they take the three every time that they got. Really good look. They just didn't make it. Go down the other end a couple of possessions later, similar type shot. Brazil get it to go, and that's the difference in the game right now. 2-point advantage for Brazil just off the back of, you know, making the shots at the crucial moment.
All about offense so far in the opening 14 minutes of this one. Plenty of lead changes, plenty of outside shots, plenty of different contributors as well. There's no one player taking charge. They're spreading the points around both teams.
And while it has been about the offense, it's not poor defense from either side. You know, they both played pretty well on the defensive end, I would say. Not massive breakdowns or tactical things for them to look at. It's just the offense has been at that level, been exceptional for both teams in the first 14 minutes.
That basket from Marnawi puts them ahead as Tunisia's top scorer with 7 points in 7 minutes so far. Brazil led by the 8 points of the number 8, Vitor Benite. We said, let's hope there's plenty more to come at the end of the first quarter. It's continued in the same vein so far over the first 4 minutes of the second. There is Marnawi. Abada. He set the tone early on with 6 points. Gets it back. Abada looks to attack Yago. Tough shot. Yago going coast to coast, looks back out. Wide open three for Hetzheimer, and he hits it.
Benches up for Brazil. They like that one. It was all about Yago. Saw the space, and he's done an excellent job, you know, kicking out for shooters, Yago.
It's a game that looks tailor-made for him at the moment with his pace and passing. 4 assists in 7 minutes. Mejri taking on Hetzheimer. Misses the shot. Mendel, quick pass to Hafaluz. And it's a wide open three again. Hetzheimer back-to-back triples.
What an introduction that is. He's played 1 minute and he's got 6 points. Back-to-back threes. Credit again to the team to find him.
He's arrived at this tournament off the back of winning the Basketball Champions League Americas MVP award. Playing with Flamingo. Brazil up by 8, the largest lead of the game. And the Brazil bench wanted a turnover. It remains in Tunisian hands. Just across the midway point of the second quarter. Is this where Brazil establish their reputation and dominance, or is it where Tunisia dig deep and close the gap? The first time in the game they've been in this position, the Tunisians. Have they got a score to answer? Abada. He misses the long two, and those shots that were dropping freely over the first 12 or 13 minutes have stopped now for Tunisia, and a strong attack down the baseline. Explosive at the other end from Mendel Nafel.
Yeah, might need a timeout. Might see one soon from Coach Baumann. Just sense Brazil feel the moment right now. They feel they can take advantage. Tunisia sort of searching for options offensively.
Mendel misses the first. 28-year-old forward who made the move to Europe this past season, impressed in Spain with Fuenlabrada. 11 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.4 steals a game. Hits the second. So 9 is now the largest lead for Brazil. 4.5 to play in the first half.
Tunisia just need a clean look. That's the most important thing here. Something really open, see if they can use Abada to get to the basket. If he can't score, get somebody like Hadidan, an open one.
Let's see if they can create. Slimane Abada, got Yago up in the air. Mejri, shot clock winding down. That's not the shot they wanted, but they will take the outcome as their talisman steps up.
Now Brazil kind of lost their way there on Abada, but did an excellent job to switch and take away his threat. Similar to you, I think they thought they'd be all right with Mejri shooting a three.
There's the three from Hetzheimer to answer back. He misses, having hit back-to-back triples to open up this gap in Brazil's favour. That's a significant swing for Tunisia. The three-pointer themselves, the miss for Hetzheimer.
Yeah, and basketball is built on the back of, games of 3 possessions. So you want to try and get a score, a stop, and another score. And they're crucial to be able to do little possessions like that, these little mini runs all the time. And that's what Tunisia have the opportunity to do here. After going down to their biggest deficit, they get the score, impressive stop, and now can they get this second score here?
Yeah, if you lose a couple of those mini runs in a row, the game gets away from you. Tunisia having to try and make sure they win this next one. Yago. Spin baseline, the footwork, the pass to the far side, the touch pass to the corner, the three. Almost off the hop. Tunisia survive again. Abada into Mejri. Turns to face the defense, wants to attack the defense, gets the foul on Lucas.
Yeah, he didn't want to foul there, Lucas. He was in pretty good position. Thought he'd cut off Mejri, but just watched that little reach in there for no reason. They've just held him out, I think.
Final 3 minutes of the first half, 6-point gap. Abada. Mejri's perched on the perimeter again. This time Abada took the shot himself. Really positive start to the game from Abada, but the points have dried up for him. And Yago gets Brazil back in business from deep.
Talked about the backcourt of Brazil, but I was talking about Benitez, about Huertas, but Yago could have been the best of the lot of them right now. Said, he's got to the lane, he's created, he's got really good looks for other people to get them going, and now he knocks down the three for himself as well.
And Abada had 6 points early on. He's not scored since, and part of that, I think, is the defense that Yago's played on him as well.
I mean, Brazil have the depth, but it's a lot of the guys that have come in from the bench right now that are creating problems. It's that 5, that's all come in, really, that's really turned the screws. So positive signs, I think, from Brazil. Don't forget, they'll be looking at this whole tournament, not just here tonight as well.
Very simple, right? We want to go pick and pop for Salah. So what we're doing here is this. Look, 1 and 2, dribble handoff, 3 screens for 5, and 5 will now pick and pop. Okay, understood? Okay, you just pick and pop.
There's the open 3 from Yago after Brazil had missed a couple. But they're 7 of 14 from three-point range through the game, shooting 50%. It was actually Yago's first score, but he's dished 4 assists and played good defense.
The percentages for Brazil, the kind of things you'd look at for how well you're playing as a team. 54% from the field, excellent shooting. They've shared the ball as well, 13 assists on those 15 baskets. So, good teamwork from them, good shots. It means it's coming out of team play rather than relying on just one guy to create all the offense.
We haven't yet, here on game day 1, had a double-digit lead for any team. Brazil up by 9 here. We'll try and change that. Tunisia want to keep in touch. Mejri 2 of 2 from the outside before that miss. And now a chance for the first double-digit advantage of the tournament. Yago ultimately turned over.
It's a good look. I was blocked off from my view to see how Lucas didn't get the ball, really. Looked like he had inside position. Oh, that's quick hands from Adidami.
Abada. Mejri threatens the 3 again, shoots it over the top of Hetzheimer.
I don't think pick and pop every offense for Mejri is really what Tunisia need.
Yago up against Abada, backs off the centre court. Gets away from Abada, burst past Mejri, going through the gears as well. Pass to the corner, right on the money. So too the three-point shot from Lucas. And Brazil open up a double-digit advantage.
Just great offense from Brazil. Space the floor, everybody hands ready. Yago just getting to the paint. He's terrorizing people off the dribble right now.
6 assists and 11 minutes on court for Yago, the 22-year-old. And Brazil are hoping to get this one done before half-time, or at least be in the driver's seat heading into the third quarter.
Yeah, Tunisia need to kind of adjust the perimeter defense if they can. So you see the foul, Mejri on the drive. I prefer that than him shooting the 3, but, you know, see if they can force Yago to finish a little bit more one-on-one rather than giving him just these easy passes out. It's force Yago to make tough 2s rather than give up the wide open, easy 3. Because the way Brazil shoot it in so many spots, you know, it's an automatic if they're getting looks like that.
Mejri hits the second after missing the first. 21-21 at the end of the first quarter. It's a 20-9 second quarter in Brazil's favour. Lucas on to lose. To Yago, who's so heavily involved in this second quarter for Brazil to open up the gap. Nice pass from Hetzheimer this time. And there's Luz inside. There's always an extra option for Brazil.
Just player movement, ball movement, absolutely beautiful to watch from Brazil. And Tunisia just trying to keep up with them right now. Players just going too fast.
Gayaza in the game. First time we've seen him, the number 11 for Tunisia. We'll go to the 2 benches with 43 seconds remaining of this first half. Brazil leading by 13 and looking like a well-oiled machine, particularly here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's been beautiful to watch, isn't it? We said, you know, Tunisia right now, they just can't deal with the speed of Brazil. And we're not talking about speed up and down the floor. It's the speed of decision-making that's been so impressive from Brazil. You know, you watch, they'll run an action. If it doesn't work, it's just immediately into the next look, the next action, the next opportunity. And right now, just one action, second action, third action, they're happening so quickly. Tunisia is still trying to stop the first thing from happening. Brazil have already moved on, so really, really impressive first half from the Brazilians.
Just to embellish the team philosophy of Brazil, every single player, 11 of them that have taken to the court for Brazil, have scored.
That's incredible in the first half alone.
It's only Jorginho who's not yet played. Yago, the man who's sewn everything together, one of Brazilian basketball's emerging stars, the Flamengo point guard. Tunisia need each and every point they can get. And try and get a couple from the foul line. Sliman misses the second. Here goes Yago again. Hetzheimer. Yago going to take only his third shot wide of the basket. Trying to stuff it was Hetzheimer after grabbing the offensive rebound.
2 for 1 there from Brazil. They went quick. Yago probably wouldn't have taken that on another occasion, but by taking it early, he's going to get another possession here at the end of this half.
Tunisia slowing it down, working in the final 6 seconds of the shot clock now. Abada. Long range 2 from Gayaza. Misses. Offensive rebound for them, so Brazil don't get the next opportunity they were hoping for, and that will do it for a fascinating first half in which Brazil have opened up a gap in the second quarter where they held Tunisia to just 10 points. So Brazil in pole position, leading by 12 at halftime. Tunisia 31, Brazil 43.
I've enjoyed that. I think it's been a great first half. You know, Tunisia, they're unlucky to be trailing by 12 because they haven't played badly. Brazil just offensively really impressive. The challenge for Tunisia now and Coach Baumann is how can he disrupt Brazil? How can he take away from that speed that we've been talking about? How can he take away from them going from one thing to the next to the next? It's such a tough thing to do. But, you know, that's the challenge for Coach Baumann right now because Brazil just look too comfortable.
Benite leading all scorers with 8 points. Mejri and Marnawi with 7 each for Tunisia. 2-point shooting, the big difference, isn't it? 56% on the inside for Brazil, 33% at the moment for Tunisia. And I suppose when you've got your giant centre, Salah Mejri, taking more threes than twos, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think Brazil have got the balance really spot on as well. They've been able to get to the basket. They've been able to be aggressive in trying to get to the paint. And when the defense has rotated, that's when they've freed themselves for threes. You know, for Tunisia, they haven't had that same kind of, you know, ability to break down the defense on the perimeter. So a lot more of their shots are challenged. A lot more of their threes are harder to find. So, again, it goes back to the defense and the challenge for Tunisia to take that away. How can you stop Yago getting to the paint? He's incredibly quick. He's surrounded by all these shooters. What are you going to do? Sometimes you have to give something up, but I would like to see Tunisia try to be the aggressor a little bit more, if they can, on that end of the floor.
There's a real transition almost taking place in the Brazil setup with youngsters like Yago stepping up and improving and increasing their responsibility, with the likes of Alex and Varejao in their twilight years. The Brazilian blend has certainly worked well in the first 20 minutes here of this Olympic qualifying tournament. Plenty of three-point shots for Brazil, 8 of them knocked down in the first half. Hetzheimer's back-to-back triples coming in off the bench in his first minute on court. Opened the gap initially, and Brazil haven't looked back since. Shooting 50% from long range. So many of them open looks as well. Bigger test to come for Alexander Petrovic and his team, but this is a pretty good start to proceedings here in Split for them. And Yago continues to pull the strings and to get better and better. The game changed when he came in off the bench as well. 6 assists in 13 minutes. Half-time in Split, Brazil leading Tunisia by 12 points.
Brazil walking into the backcourt. Final seconds of the quarter, and there's Lucas Diaz putting it up. Beautiful bounce pass. Oh, right in and dunking
streak. He's going to have to put it up himself. Puts up off the glass. Unbelievable.
Oh, good strong move, but the finish wasn't there for Akil Mitchell. And now quickly, Brazil, what a bounce pass. Oh, what a pin. Look at that, Lucas Diaz. I thought he got pinned there for a second.
Pressure work, and Samba picks it up, looks to run. Oh, now she comes and just throws that one. Great effort by Salah Azli.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
Welcome back to the Spaladium Arena in Split, where we take a look at our top scorers so far over the first half of this first game in Group B. And Benite leads the way for Brazil with his 8 points, but that's not really the story. The story for Brazil is their excellent team play, their ability to involve everybody. And they've actually had everybody taking to the court score so far. 11 players between 2 and 8 points, with Benite at the top of the pile in that regard. 3 rebounds on his stat line, a couple of assists as well. And he set the tone early on, hit 3 of his 5 shots. Without the biggest player of the game so far, the Statue of Liberty dunk from Bruno Caboclo. So this has been a fantastic team performance so far from Brazil, despite our focus on Vitor Benite, who continues his fine form from this past season.
I think it shows you the quality of the Brazilian team. That Vitor Benite is the top scorer, the star man. He's barely played. He's only played sort of 15 minutes, but a lot of other guys came to the forefront as well for Brazil.
The leading scorer for Tunisia, Oussama Marnaoui, with 7 points, 3 rebounds on his stat line as well. 3 of 6 from the field. He's only played 10 minutes, picked up a couple of fouls, which limited his time on court. And Tunisia did pretty well for a while with him on the bench, and then the big changes came from Brazil, with Yago coming in, Hetzheimer coming in, knocking down a couple of threes, and the game started to open up in Brazil's favour, but they'll need the likes of Marnaoui, Tunisia, if they are to try and close the gap.
I think right now this is, you know, Brazil would have taken this going into the game. 12-point lead, comfortable offensively, rotated everybody. I think they've played hard defensively as well. So that's, you know, a real positive for them. They still want to play a little better, but I think right now they've got games coming up for Brazil. The performance is important, and they've done that in the first 20 minutes. For Tunisia, they're changing the face of the team, going with some of those veterans and bringing in the younger guys for sure. But again, you know, they're unlucky to be trailing by 12 right now. I think it's small margins really the difference for them at this stage in the competition.
And the first couple of minutes, you have to feel, in the second half will almost decide what type of game we might get for the remainder of this one.
Well, if Tunisia come out and start the second half the way they started the first, they're still very much alive. However, it just felt in that kind of the back end of the second quarter that Brazil now had found their comfort level. So, you know, that's what I was referring to just before the break. Somehow, for Tunisia, how can they take away the comfort that Brazil have right now? Brazil already out onto the floor warming up. They said very little at the half. You know, they just want to go through the motions in this second half and prepare for the other games. For Tunisia, they've got to make Brazil think or do something different in that second half. So how can they stop, you know, penetration getting to the basket? How can they take away the three-point shot that Brazil have used? How can they limit the open looks that they've got? That's what I think that Tunisia need to establish in the second half.
And we saw there the leaders in the various categories for Brazil. Varejão with 4 rebounds in 8 minutes, finding his full fitness after a late inclusion in the past season, having not played for a couple of months. And Yago leading the way of all creators in this game with 6 assists in 13 minutes. He's been a real spark. Benitez, of course, as we've discussed, leading the way of all scorers in the game. How impressed have you been, Lloyd, with Yago, and how, if at all, can Tunisia change what he's doing?
Well, I've been very impressed. You know, obviously you've got the star power of Marcelino Huerta, so you've got the star power of Benitez in that backcourt, but Yago was tremendous in that first 20 minutes. Not just, you know, the 3 and scoring, but the ability to run the offense, the ability to control everything. Defensively, did a really good job, as you said, against Abada as well, who'd started brightly. I think the challenge for Tunisia is, especially in the pick and roll, how do they keep him out of the lane? So whenever he's been able to see the open floor, Yago's beat that first defender, drawn a second man, and his decision-making is absolutely perfect so far. So can you stop the second man needing to come? That's the question for Tunisia. You've either got to do a better job keeping him in front in the first aspect, or, you know, do you change what you're doing on that help side rotation against him? So I said, you know, can Abada keep Yago as much as he can under control, that Abada can be the one who challenges the shot rather than forcing someone like Mejri to come over and help, and that leaves Mejri's man open.
Abada leads Tunisia creatively with 3 assists as well as 6 points, but they all came early on. Marnaoui with 7 points. Mejri actually has 7 as well for Tunisia, so joint leading scorers for them so far. And Marnaoui and Mejri also leading the way in rebounding for Tunisia with 3 apiece.
Coach, the first good quarter. What did you tell the players what they have to improve in the third and in the fourth quarter?
Well, the point guard, backup point guard of the Brazilians, number 2, he did a great job of getting into the paint, and then he got the ball to open shooters, and so we're going to have to cover him differently in the pick and roll, and we will, and got to do a better job of staying home against their shooters, which is going to be important. They shot 8 for 16 from 3-point range, and we have to do a better job on the defensive glass, which is difficult because they are very athletic and they have big bodies, but we just have to do a better job on the defensive glass, and I'm sure we will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your team found the rhythm in the second quarter. What did you tell the players for the second half?
The problem was that we let them came easy to the game. We lost 2 balls, we lost 3 possession one-on-one, and that gave confidence on the beginning to Tunisian team. And after that, we settled that, more patient defensively, focus on defense and control game through defensively. That's what we need to do even second 20 minutes.
All the best, thank you.
Yeah, the big one for coach Alexander Petrovic, and Brazil is still to come, of course, in terms of facing his nation and the co-host, or the hosts here, Croatia, for their second game in this group. But it's perhaps hard to tell, I guess, is it, Lloyd, how good they are in terms of incorporating all of those young players when the opposition is at the level they're at tonight. We'll get a real idea of how far Brazil can go when they face Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, they can only beat what's in front of them tonight, and that's not dismissing Tunisia in any way. We can judge Brazil on what we see, and it's been a very impressive first half. You know, Coach Petrovic said it felt like they got control on the defensive end later in that second half, and I agree. You know, the guys coming in off the bench did that for them. Really established their defensive identity first, and that led to, you know, the open floor or secondary transition opportunities. Coach Baumann, on his side, you know, he talked about staying home on the shooters, which is exactly what I said just before we went to him. You know, that's the key. You can't give these Brazilian shooters the time and space that they have.
And the rotation from Coach Petrovic, and getting the job done early tonight is crucial given they face Croatia tomorrow. He'll be wanting his players not to have to put too much in, not to play too many minutes against Tunisia tonight. But you'd expect it to be those two teams, Brazil and Croatia, who make it through, of course, to the semi-finals on Saturday. But I want to win the group as well. That's a huge game. Brazil against Croatia tomorrow. And the group will finish on Thursday when Croatia take on Tunisia. Tunisia start with the ball down by 12 at the start of the third quarter. Ganouni, and then around it goes to Halidan, on to Sliman. Look at the tenacity from the two 40-year-olds, Sliman and Alex.
It's like a brick wall, though, Alex. You're watching the replay, look. Sliman trying to move him, and Alex just going nowhere at all. He's giving up a lot of size. This is the kind of matchups we talked about with the starting fives at the beginning of the game, and Tunisia do have that advantage. It was a real battle. You've got to have that mindset to play as long as those two have. Here's Alex, comes away with the ball, dishes off to Benite. They'll play in the half-court Brazil now instead. Mariano, back to Benite. Guarded by Abada. It's the same lineup for Brazil at the start of the second half that started the first, isn't it? And that's when Tunisia had some joy before Yago came in. They're calling for an unsportsmanlike foul here, Tunisia. They're not going to get it. There was players back. So even though it is a foul and it's kind of an open court opportunity, you can see, you know, players are back. So good play from Tunisia defensively. They're the types of play, you know, take Brazil out of that comfort zone, which is what they did to Benite there. They didn't let him just use the ball screen and get an easy shot, and really pressured him, forced him into the turnover.
Abada on the bounce to the basket, going all the way and scoring his first point since the opening few minutes. We talked about the defense that Yago played coming in on him. Alex. Marcelino Huertas. Benite free for the three, and we know exactly what that means.
And that's the difference between the two teams. They both run that same play. Tunisia executed defensively. One guy did it, one guy didn't, and Brazil get the open three. When it was the other way around, it was like clockwork, the switch between the two guards.
He's 3 of 4 on the outside, 11 points now, the first scorer in double figures in the game. But how about the response from Salah Mejri?
And they should give a little look to the bench as well, as if to say, I'm comfortable shooting the three. Let me do it, coach.
3 of 5 on the outside now. Mejri, the center. And how about the effort on the defensive end as well, and the celebration as he was knocked down to the hardwood. Mejri clenched his fist, having forced the turnover.
I love it. I love the adjustments Tunisia have made. That's what we said. They've got to do a better job of stopping that initial advantage off the ball screen. They've done exactly that, forced 2 turnovers in 2 possessions.
And the 35-year-old putting his body in the way, showing his shooting range as well. Tunisia closed the gap to 10 points. And now a chance to make it a single-digit game. Abada, he takes on the 3. That would have been a big shot had it gone. Caboclo. Benite. Caboclo's going to shoot 3. Mariano, and the rebound up against Mejri. Bit of footwork, head fake to the baseline, lovely move.
Great finish. A lot of fakes in there. You know, Mejri kind of stayed in position the whole time. Good touch.
He's almost like one of the young players on this Brazil roster, Lucas Mariano, at the age of 27. It's his first taste of international basketball this year. Just been called for the 4th Brazil foul in the opening 3 minutes of the third. Tunisia yet to commit one.
Opportunity for Tunisia, get themselves some freebies from the line. Great way to get back in the game when you're trailing.
Abada looking to work with Mejri perhaps. Trying to get away from Marcelino. Mejri on the perimeter again. This time takes on Mariano. And there is foul number 5 and 2 in quick succession on Mariano. Mejri gets to the line with 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining of this quarter. We might see quite a few trips to the stripe for Tunisia.
And smart from Mejri as well. You know, he had the opportunity to shoot the 3, faked it, knowing that he had, you know, created the threat after making them. And now he puts it on the floor. Heady play.
Mejri with 9 of his 10 points in the game so far coming from the 3-point line, the other 1 coming from the free throw line. Tunisia have only taken 6 free throws in the game. They need to make the most of them. It's a potential route back into this ball game over the next 7 minutes. 11 the gap. 11 for Mejri. Caboclo. Mariano. 2 fouls in quick succession, his first 2 in the game. Marcelino Huertas onto Benite. Benite, little skip off one leg. The floater won't fall. Mejri first to the rebound. Abada. Hadi Dan, very good 3-point shooter, moves it on. Looks to get it back mid-range up against Caboclo. Hadi Dan going to work, body to body, into the lane. Excellent defense from Caboclo to stick to him like glue. Marcelino Huertas. Prodding and probing on the perimeter, using the big frame of Mariano. Looking to work with him again as a decoy, back out, Benite, long 2, drains it.
Again, it's that moment where Benite has you in a closeout, just clinical at putting you away. And a turnover.
Touch pass back out, they move it around the perimeter, Abada. Still can't find the room they want. They'll work in the final 5 seconds of the shot clock with El Mabrouk. And despite some positive improvements from Tunisia in this third quarter, Brazil have an opportunity to make it the largest lead of the game with a score here. Mariano shoots the free throw. 2 points for that one.
Tunisia started the half by, you know, the turnovers. We said took away the rhythm. Now Brazil starting to find it. Benite, the fake and step inside, the easy roll on the pick and roll.
It's a 15-point lead, midway point of the third quarter. Excellent move to get free, Murad Al Mabrouk. Tunisia just trying to hang in there. Only his second field goal of 6 attempts.
It's just relentless from Brazil, isn't it? That's the thing, you know, we're crediting Tunisia. They got 2 or 3 stops, but then straight away afterwards, you see the defensive intensity. That's what Coach Petrovic was asking for, you know, said was important in the first half. And now just, you know, one after the other. You slow Benite down a possession or 2, but still he's going to keep coming at you.
Marcelino Huertas directing traffic from deep. Mariano setting plenty of screens. Across it goes to the corner. Alex, the 41-year-old, like a fine South American wine, vintage.
Coach Baumann incensed on the sideline for leaving the shooters. That's what he talked about in the halftime interview. They just can't do it. Can't give Alex that much space.
Slimane to Abada. It's a 16-point lead now, the largest so far. Mejri back out, Slimane. Shot clock winding down to the final second here. Static 3-point contested attempt, but an offensive rebound off the back of it. A fresh 14 on the clock. El Mabrouk looking for Mejri, high entry pass. And he'll go to the line for 2. It's the first time Tunisia have been back there since Brazil reached the limit over 3 minutes ago.
Really smart pass from Delmobrook over the top. Knew there was no help. So even though the defender was quite attached to Mejri, just lofted it. And the defender couldn't get it. Smart play.
So Mejri at the line to try and add to his team high 11 points to try and tie the game high 13 of Benite, but he's not going to get there. And split them on each of his first 2 trips to the stripe. He'll hope to do that again now. And he does. Marcelino Huertas. Caboclo. Alex. Checks his feet. Checks it's in the basket. It certainly is.
That's the versatility of this Brazilian team. You know, Salah Mejri got to guard a guy out in the corner. It's a difficult matchup for him.
Mariano, the 2'8" centre, knocking down the outside shot. Now Bada to Marnawi. Marnawi challenged by Alex. Mejri looking to pick up the pieces, and a travel called in the dying embers of the shot clock.
Again, Brazil defensively just have that next gear to go to when it really matters. When Tunisia finds some comfort, when you think, oh, here they come, they're starting to play better, Brazil always seem to have that answer on that end of the floor.
We'll go to a Tunisia timeout. They're trailing by 17 now. We knew they were big underdogs coming in. The mountain on the Adriatic coast just got a bit steeper for them.
I think credit to them, though. They've still played extremely well. They've got to stay confident with what they've been doing. A lot of it has been forced by the quality of the Brazilians, not necessarily the deficiencies of Tunisia. So, you know, how can they now slow down? How can they get a really good shot on this next offense? And again, how can they re-establish that defense that took away the game plan from Brazil?
Let's take a look at some of these moments that have pulled Brazil well and truly out in front. There's plenty of different contributors still. Mariano coming to the fore at times. Benite leading the way with 13 points. Alex knocking down the corner 3. Brazil now hitting 10 3-point shots at 53% accuracy. Those 10 threes, Lloyd, knocked down by 6 different players.
Yeah, they've just done a tremendous job spacing the floor, being unselfish. I think that is a little naivety from Tunisia. Plays like this, you know, it's too much help. You're going to help too much and giving up the 3.
Mariano tried to dunk over the top of the Tunisian legend, Mejri. Couldn't put himself on the highlight reel. Marnawi onto Abada. Abada goes left hand through a gap into traffic and gets a foul. I mean, it would be one of the all-time great upsets, of course, if Tunisia were to get that ticket to Tokyo. Their focus is on the Afrobasket, isn't it, later this summer, and plenty of optimism in terms of heading there, trying to defend the title they won in 2017.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are freebies for them. They come in with no expectations, but, you know, this is a Tunisian team that has quality, as we talked about. It isn't a foregone conclusion. I don't think they come here thinking they have no chance of qualification, but as you said, you know, they're up against it, one of the underdogs of the 6 teams here, although it does give them a great opportunity to prepare for later in the summer in Rwanda.
And what an education for the young players we've talked about to face the talents of Brazil and Croatia over the 2 games. What a pass from Marcelino inside to Alex as the 2 veterans combine.
It's not the first time that's been said. What a pass by Marcelino. Excellent provider, excellent distributor. Good finish from Alex on the inside.
Had 7 assists a game in the Spanish playoffs this season at the age of 38. There's a foul on the corner 3 from Marnawi. Brazil have blown this wide open. And they're sitting comfortably on the Brazil bench right now, leading by 19.
So often when you see someone getting to the end of their career, the first thing they struggle with is defensively. But Alex just is even for his age, is such a good defender. You know, might not have the lateral quickness, perhaps, of his younger years, but the strength, his decision-making, his ability to, you know, cover ground, still so impressive.
Mentioned in the first half, the 41-year-old and 8-time Defender of the Year in the Brazilian League.
And you can see why. As I said, it's not about the quickness, it's the anticipation. We've seen him come up with a few steals of cross-court passes and read the defense. You know, really impressive stuff on that end of the floor.
Iago in the game for the first time, I think, in the second half.
Zone for Tunisia.
Alex with the pass out to the far side. Benite misses the corner 3. Offensive rebound, Caboclo. Iago will race back. And the ball still in Brazilian hands.
A little 1-3-1 zone there. I don't think Tunisia will be happy they gave up the corner 3 so easily. Now, looks like they're going to stay in the zone, but change the shape slightly. The big thing I think in this is they've got a rebound against it.
Iago quick down the floor as ever. Mendel through a gap. Iago shooting from the baseline, missing. Mabrouk. Nice pass far side. They'll try and get him down the baseline themselves, Tunisia, and that's a lovely teardrop that falls for Marnawi.
Marnawi is a scorer. I mean, we've seen him hit the 3. He goes to the basket without any fear. He's super creative when he gets there as well. Very impressive.
It's 11 points now, as well as 4 rebounds. 3-point shot on the money for Mendel. That's 11 that Brazil have knocked down.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the zone will change the rhythm against teams that are shooting it really well, but Brazil just looks so comfortable right now.
Mabrouk prodding, probing, penetrating, missing. Varejão the rebound. Brazil will come again. Benite down the floor, looking left and right for options on the perimeter, and the foul instead.
It's almost like he was trying to pass it the whole time there, Benite, but the arm got pulled away so much he couldn't actually make the pass.
Final minute of the third quarter. Brazil looking to go up by 20 or more. Iago back to Benite. Varejão running interference up high. Benite wriggling free and finding a finish at the end of it as well. It's 15 for Vitor Benite. Ganuni looking to take on Varejão, the veteran, and what a finish that is as well from Ganuni, another one of Tunisia's youngsters.
Yeah, matched the drive from Benite there, going to go into this zone again.
Here's Benite for the 3 once more, too long this time. And that'll do it for the third quarter. Brazil 10 minutes away from a win to get this campaign underway. One of the favourites to take that ticket to Tokyo, and they're showing just why here. Tunisia 46, Brazil 64 at the end of 3.
It's kind of as we were at the half, really. Positive signs again from Tunisia, but Brazil, they just always have an answer. Always, even if you take them out of their game a couple of possessions, they always have the response when they need to.
You see the efficiency there of the offense, 60% shooting from 2, 48% on the outside, where they've knocked down 11. And everybody getting minutes, everybody getting points, everybody getting confidence, and finding their fluidity ahead of that big matchup tomorrow against Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fluidity word you just used, that's exactly what it's been for Brazil. They've just, you know, come out, they've run their offense, they've moved the ball, players have moved. They look as though they've been playing together for a long time. Now, of course, the core of this team has. They had that experience of the World Cup. They had, you know, Rio before that as well for a lot of these guys, but still, you know, an impressive performance for a team which hasn't been long together since the back end of the season. And of course, with a lot of guys that played a lot of games during this last season.
And they have integrated a few younger players to the roster as well, and to great effect so far here on game day one. The likes of Mendel, Lucas, Mariano, and they're looking right at home. Brazil by 18, start to the fourth quarter. Loose. And there's a foul on Adami. Saw there what Coach Petrovic thought of it. Lose. Varejao. Off to Mendel. Varejao can't resist the three. Great rebound from Mendel. Varejao couldn't quite reel it in though. Elmer Brook down the floor. And a quick slice to the basket, and the score for Marnawi again.
Loves to get to that left hand whenever he gets the opportunity, Marnawi, despite being a righty. Really efficient scorer with his left.
Luz goes baseline, attacking from the perimeter, and the pretty finish as well from Hafaluz. Elmer Brook gets it back from Adami. Garnawi, or Ganuni rather. Cross-court pass out to this near side. Here's Marnawi again, mid-range with a hand in his face. Misses this one. Varejao the rebound. Brazil still not hanging around here. Yago swiftly down the floor, gets it back from Lutz. Varejao on the trail with the floater over the top of a big opponent.
He's got that floater going today, hasn't he? Second time we've seen it.
Varejao now with 6 points. He's played 11 minutes. Yago.
The problem for Tunisia is they've got to try and, you know, speed up a little to get themselves back into the game. But
Varejao, lovely wraparound pass to the far side. Three-pointer miss though from Lucas, and the offensive rebound and the whistle.
And the faster you go offensively, the more opportunity that gives Brazil to come back at you. And especially with Yago back on the floor, you know, any open court, he's going to be coming in transition.
Anderson Varejao arguably will be more desperate, I think, to get to the Olympics than anybody else on this Brazil team. He missed the 2016 tournament in Rio with a back injury. He's battled his way back to get in shape for this qualifying tournament. And he's battled his way to that offensive rebound and ultimately battled his way to the foul line. 12 years with the Cavs before his latest stint rejoining late this season. Had a year with Golden State, did his best to try and avoid a championship ring, didn't he, in the NBA? Lost to Golden State in the 2015 finals with Cleveland, then got traded between the two mid-season, lost with the Warriors to the Cavs in the 2016 final. He turned down the offer of a ring from his old side, and the next year Golden State won it, but he'd already been waived after 14 games.
And that sums up Brazil there, you know, celebrating a tied ball as much as a victory. And they loved the effort of Mendel there. You know, players on the floor really enjoyed his effort.
What those older guys do, I guess, is set the philosophy, set the mentality for the younger players coming in. You don't play that long unless you have that elite mentality. And they're passing that on to the new generation.
Yeah, and what you don't see here is the leadership of someone like Benite for Iago.
Offensive foul against Brazil, so the basket won't count for Varejão.
Yeah, I mean, Iago picks up the offensive foul there, but Benite's been in discussion with him 3 or 4 times in the game. You know, at the half, they walked out, they were talking about an offense. We see a good play from Messi. He was outside of the charge circle. During the last free throws, they were over there in discussion again, so Benite just passing down that experience to Iago.
Abada. Abada gets it back on the perimeter. So 22-point Brazil lead now. Final 7 minutes coming up. Corner 3 for Tunisia. They continue to battle on the boards themselves and to battle on the baseline as well. Ganouni making sure they leave it all on the floor despite the hefty deficit. Iago. Lucas to Mendel. Now Iago. Varejão comes deep. Iago goes past him. Looking to go perhaps past Mejri as well. And Varejão, eyes in the back of his head from Iago. And Varejão was there to take full advantage.
Great patience. Iago got to the lane. You know, the help didn't come the way it had in the first half. They stayed at home with the shooters, but just under control, just waited for Varejão to be open.
It's 8 assists now for the 22-year-old. Abada takes the open 3, misses it. Mejri reels in the rebound. 2 NBA veterans going body to body. And then the air ball from the far side, and it's almost the end of the line, you feel, for Tunisia in terms of any dream of making it through to Saturday's semi-finals. They're falling away in this one.
Iago must love playing on this team, right? He's got all those three-point threats all around him. He's been able to just get to the lane, easy passes to them in the first half. Now they're taking away just all the space in the world for an NBA veteran wide open under the basket.
Timeout with a 24-point Brazil lead, 6 minutes remaining. With Iago putting on a clinic. And Brazil putting in a very impressive performance. That one of the assists of the day, I think, hearing game day 1 in Split, wasn't it, from Iago? The best of his 8 so far, but for such a young player, he's showing he's not just got the speed, the athletic ability, he's got the court presence and vision, hasn't he, to know where his teammates are and to quicken the game when it needs to be quickened, but to slow it down as well when it needs to be slowed down.
Yeah, I think something we said off-air is the maturity that he's shown, and you can almost see the growth in his game coming from that. So just the ability to control, the ability to run this team, you know, growing possession by possession really as he's out there.
About it. Wants to take on Iago. Mejri. Nice pass from Mejri, but the miss from Ganouni. Loose cross-court pass. Iago. Orchestrating the offense again. Hetzheimer. Mendel takes the 3 over the top of Hadidan. Abada with a long pass to the corner. Hadidan on the offensive end. Mejri. Ganouni. Mejri trying to create space for him to attack from the perimeter. Rebound Hetzheimer. Iago. Not slowing down. Hetzheimer, 3-point shot. Too long.
Abada says, let's control this a little. I want to keep playing at that speed, just playing into the Brazil hands even more.
Luz still working hard to intercept the passing lane. Yago. Mendel. Hetzheimer. Back to Yago. Final 5 seconds of the shot clock. Yago takes a little look up. And he'll look to nail one to show his range as well. Showing us he's got a bit of everything here in Split.
Oh, what a performance it's been from that man. Coming out party in a Brazilian jersey really right now. And knocking down the three. So creative offensively for others as well. Messi just says, he's not getting out to guard him. Knows how often Yago's been able to break down the man and get to the lane. So gave him the three. Nothing but string.
Nothing but Brazil right now, a 27-point lead. They've held to Tunisia to just 2 points in the fourth quarter. Slimane. It's an offensive foul against the 40-year-old.
Just defense from Brazil, so good again. Tunisia got to the lane, they were forced to kick it, but then as the pass comes out, look there from Lutz, just takes away the open man by his positioning on the recovery. That forces the drive to come. Hetzheimer there waiting. Little details, but just so efficiently done from Brazil.
Lucas to Hetzheimer. Yago to Mendel. Mendel wants to take it to the inside. Good defense that time from Tunisia, blocking the pass to the far side. Joachim Haddad, a 22-year-old who's getting a rare few minutes on the court. And a three-pointer off the mark for Ben Taher, a 20-year-old, the youngest player on the Tunisian team. So the youth getting minutes as part of their education now. Now Bader, he hits the long two. It's only the second score of the fourth quarter for Tunisia.
And he's had both of them, Bader, hasn't he? He scored early on a drive, I believe. All-Star 5 at the FIBA African Champions Cup in his past, Bader.
He led Tunisia in qualifying for the Afro-Basket this summer. 10.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2.2 steals a game as well.
Yeah, we said he really has established himself. Played the Basketball Africa League, in which his team on a start made the final. He had an impressive game in the final in defeat as well, in which he had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. And he said he really has, in the kind of prime of his career now, got himself as one of the better backcourt players in Africa. And he's played well again here today, but just the relentless nature. He's got Benite, he's got Huertas, and now he's got Yago to go against.
Haddad, cross-court pass to Abadu, he's got 10 points. Nadami back to Abada again, still full of energy, 3-point shot, Haddad. Plenty to contemplate for Coach Baumann. Final 2.5 minutes, Brazil by 26. Warming up nicely for that box office battle against Croatia here tomorrow.
What a game that's going to be. Really is so many storylines.
Abada. Trying to get Haddad open again. He swings the pass in. This time they miss from closer range with Gayaza. Yago with 8 assists and 6 points. Working with Hetzheimer. Hetzheimer wants it in the center. He's got the height advantage, gets it eventually from Luz. Hetzheimer trying to take on 2. He'll go to the line for 2. I mentioned that Rafa Hetzheimer was the BCL Americas MVP. Put up 21 points in the final. Playing for Flamengo, he was a Spanish champion with Real Madrid back in 2013. Part of the Brazil team at the 2016 Olympics.
And another guy on that Flamenco team who was second in the competition in assists, Iago. So shows, you know, that connection as he was looking for him on that trail 3. Something they did consistently through that BCL Americas tournament as well.
Bentaja onto the corner, and one drops for Adami. The 20-year-old to the 23-year-old. Loose. High catch for Hetzheimer, little hesitation, back to the line he goes. Such a great spread in terms of the offensive output for Brazil, but also the minutes ahead of that game against Croatia tomorrow. Nobody's played more than the 25 minutes of Benite. Everybody that's taken to the floor has played at least 11 minutes.
You know, you look at the scoreboard and the spread of scoring. Tunisia have 3 guys in double figures. Brazil only have 2. Which just shows you how well they've kind of spread those points around. Everybody has contributed. Done their little part. And if you think like Marcelino Huertas is, you know, only scored 2 points.
He's got 6 assists in his 15 minutes on court, facilitating all of those other scorers for Brazil. There's a basket for Geaza, the veteran centre, appreciated by his coach. Mendel. Here's Hetzheimer, so heavily involved and getting high to finish that one too. It's 11 points in 11 minutes on court for him. Recovered in the backcourt by Marnawi. Loses it, Brazil continue to play their defense and their team basketball on offense, but they can't find the right pass that time, and in transition, a rare free and open look at the rim for Tunisia. It's taken by Bentaja, the 20-year-old.
Surprised the way Brazil have played. They're not going to go for the last score here. They've been absolutely relentless here tonight. Great performance for them. Exactly what Coach Petrovic would have wanted from his first appearance here in Split.
Tougher test to come, but a brilliant start for Brazil ahead of facing Alexander Petrovic's nation, Croatia, tomorrow. He's warmed them up nicely for that blockbuster encounter with a 26-point victory over Tunisia in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, for Tunisia, I don't think they play badly. You look at the percentages, there's a lot of positives for them out of that performance, but Brazil, you know, that is the performance of day 1 for sure. They have sent a message to the other teams, and I'm sure Croatia, looking on, knowing that they've got to play them tomorrow, will not be looking forward to a performance like that one.
So many weapons, and all of them connected so well as a team. Team basketball on offense and defense from Brazil, led by the 15 points of Benite, 11, many of them late on for Hetzheimer, 10 for Mendel. Younger players showing they can step up and contribute to help out the veterans that we know all about. And those veterans are desperate to go to one more Olympic Games. Marcelino Huertas, 6 assists for him. Benite leading the way in scoring, knocked down 6 of his 11 shots. So difficult to defend against, I guess, for Croatia, Lloyd, because they've shown in this opening game that they do have so many go-to guys. You don't quite know where they're going to go.
No, it's absolutely right. I think Croatia, obviously, again, with all respect to Tunisia, they have a better quality of player, that arguably they have the ability to take Brazil out of their game that Tunisia just couldn't do. I think what they did learn from today is you don't want to help off the shooters on the outside. You want to make it difficult for them to get clean looks. I think some of the younger faces from Brazil did an excellent job today, and that's probably what would have worried Croatia more than anything. Perhaps they would have thought some of the younger guys like Iago, like Lucas Diaz on the inside, maybe they're the weak point, but Brazil showed today they are definitely not.
Fit, fresh and firing ahead of Croatia tomorrow, spreading minutes around as well. Certainly a case of being warmed up rather than being exhausted to play a second game in as many days. Full of confidence, as you can see from many of the finishes for Brazil, and finding range as well, knocking down 12 threes in this one at 43% accuracy. 7 different players hitting on the outside, and in the inside presence of the likes of Varejão, the experience of the likes of Varejão and Huertas, and the youth of Iago, who hit the deepest shot of game day 1. 8 assists to go along with his 2 3-point shots. Giving his coach plenty of options and plenty to think about in terms of how you rotate him with Marcelino Huertas.
Yeah, I think probably what we'll see tomorrow is Iago playing less of a role, Huertas playing slightly more. You know, can Iago have the same impact off the bench in less minutes? That's going to be the challenge. And for him, as we said, you know, going against Croatia is a completely different story. The interesting one for me is you know, is this game going to help Brazil, or is it going to give them tired legs from tomorrow? Are Croatia going to get the benefit of having the day, or is it going to be a hindrance to them?
Brazil against Croatia in Group B tomorrow. Do make sure you join us for that one, game day 2 here in Croatia at the Olympic Qualifying Tournament in Split. We'll see you then.